We're just going to get it figured out. Hey there, this is Gail. We're doing chair yoga for fall prevention, or fall prevention doing it through chair yoga. One of the two, right? And it's about a 60-minute class, give or take 3 or 4 minutes on either side. We get started a little bit later in this class because I want to get folks into the room and then just kind of get everybody ready. You'll need a yoga block, a strap, a chair, or two, or access to a wall. And again, there's homework in this class that you can do every day to kind of do and revisit on Fridays. So I'm going to stand up, move this chair out of the way, and I'm going to come to the back of the room. Just know I'm going to come back up to the front of the camera when we do that guided rest, relaxation, and that gratitude practice. If we have time, we may do some energy work. I don't know. We'll just have to see. So here we go. I'm going to move this out of the way. Make sure it's not in the camera. Okay. And come to the back of the room. Here on my back wall, I don't know if you've seen that, but I also do Korean martial arts. It's called Sokmin Hohi Hep, and these are the postures that we do in the class. And I'm on level 4, and I've got so many more levels to do. But I just wanted to, I'm having that in my room because this is my studio where I do that workout. So what we're going to do today is you can stand behind the chair, sit forward on the chair if you're seated, place a hand below the belly and a hand above that. Little soft bend in the knees, kind of wriggle those shoulders a little bit, little lymphatic drainage, and just kind of bend the knees a little bit, just kind of jiggle, shake a bit, and let's become a little bit still. Now, once we're still, again, a little soft bend in the knees is perfectly fine. We're going to breathe in and expand the belly, the chest a little bit too, and then contract that belly button towards your spine. Relax those shoulders, and again, breathe in, belly big, and exhale. Maybe you're hearing the sound down the back of the throat as you breathe in. Slow, slow, slow. And exhale. Again, breathe in and out. Beautiful. So this class is kind of a combination of fall prevention, standing Tai Chi, and chair yoga. So we're going to kind of go into our warm-up, workout, cool-down part of our class. So from here, I invite you to shake. This is called shaking gong in our seated or standing Tai Chi class. We're lubricating those hips, those knees, those wrists, those elbows. We'll do something for the shoulders here and the ankles in just a bit. But let's take it up. Again, you can do this seated if you like. And then turn side to side. Be soft in your postures today. Breathing in and out. You kind of make a little ha 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 sound when you're shaking, when you're doing the shaking gong. And then come back to the center and let's flap the wrists up. Good for carpal tunnel. We kind of do a similar warm-up in the classes I teach, so you may recognize this from other classes. And then from here, let's spin the wrists. Now I'm still doing a little bit of shaking here. It's kind of hard to coordinate spinning wrists and shaking. Just do what you can, yeah? And then let's reverse. Now my reverse doesn't look the same as the original direction. That left arm is a bit stiff. That's what I notice. Okay, now we're going to address those shoulders. So we're going to cup the hands and swing the arms. And we're also bending the knees, getting a little motion in those hips, knees, a little bit in the ankles. So we're doing a subtle calf pump. That's good. Tap the shoulders, and the kind of the rhythm of the bending of the knees changes when you tap the shoulders. Again, do what you can with what you got today. Now, if you're seated in the chair, this next one, be mindful of the side of the chair because we're going to do opposite arm swings. And so maybe this is an opportunity for that arm to go a little bit higher. Maybe one's higher than the other due to what's ever going on. And those of you seated in the chair, you probably still are going to do this. And the rest of us, arms out and across. I got to make sure I'm not going to hit the chair with my arms. That's why I moved up a little bit. So again, we're kind of lubricating the spine with this little subtle twist. If this makes you dizzy, have your head look forward instead, okay? because sometimes people have, challenges with vertigo, those little crystals in the ears. Let's do one more each side. One, and then just kind of make it less and less and less. You may notice some sensation happening here. From here, let's do seated or standing cat-cow. So we're going to interlace the fingers, and I'm going to show this sideways, and then push the hands away and curve the spine to the back of the room. Ooh, I just popped my fingers. And then from here, take your fists on your hips, and you're pushing your pelvis forward, squeezing your butt. Chest lifts to where the wall meets the ceiling. If you're seated, maybe you grab the back of the chair to do that little subtle back bend or cow pose. Let's go back to standing or seated cat. So again, push the palms away, curve that spine, bend those knees, and then stand up nice and tall. In mountain, make those fists go on your hips or low on the behind, whatever you can manage. Hands back behind you, or grab that chair. Push your hips forward. Your chest kind of points towards where the wall meets the ceiling. And we're going to do that one more time. Interlace the fingers, push the hands away, curve the spine. Whether you're seated, whether you're standing. And then tall posture, also known as mountain pose. Fist on the hips, push the hips forward, chest where the wall meets the ceiling. So you're kind of tilting back a little bit here. Keep your balance. Beautiful. And then from here, you can do this seated on the chair, but basically we're step touching or going side to side. So this lateral movement is very good for our balance because we're using a particular hip muscle when we do this. You can do this behind the chair if you like, especially if you have some balance challenges today. Or, you can kind of do this, fingertips on the wall. So several ways to do the same thing. Okay, now if it's available, maybe you can swing the arms. Maybe not. Again, maybe you hang onto the chair or tippy finger on the chair while you do this, and that's okay too. Very good. And then come back to the center, come towards the front of your chair. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. We're going to do a finishing breath here. Hands at the center, coming down the heart center. Now let's do a yoga breath. So that is inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and then exhale, arms out to the side. So there's that little subtle difference there. Very good. Next is our Qigong detox. So I like to follow the pattern of the Big Six. You can look that up, Dr. Perry Nicholson. So what I do is I spread out my hands, I bring it here above and below my collarbone, and I stroke across about 5 times. And then what you can do then is tap across about 5 times. So this is, let me think here, the lung meridian, the kidney meridian, and there's one more. I think it's the stomach meridian. They all go through this area in our bodies. One more time. All right, let's do the other side. Again, spread out the hands. It's above and below the collarbone. Find that collarbone. And then stroke across. And let's tap. Now, it's not hard. It's nice and lightweight. So collarbone is area number 1. Try to remember that. One of the Big Six. Next is the neck area. So again, you kind of spread those hands out. And I like to bring my fingers in front of my ears and back of my ears and stroke down the jawline and then down the neckline. And I try to get back here at the back of the head also because there's lots of lymph node nest hanging out there. You may notice some excessive drainage going on. You may need to swallow. And you can also alternatively softly tap. Let's do the other side. Again, fingers in front and back of the ear, bring it down the neckline, bring it down the jawline. Again, you're not digging, okay? It's a light touch. But you have a little friction pulling the skin. In other words, you're stimulating this lymph node nest area. And again, tap. So that's area number 2, the neck and the jawline. Area number 3 is the armpit. So I like to do that little right angle. For the easiest one is to press in and squeeze the thumb into that pectoral. So this is actually at the the bottom part of the collarbone, the underside. So that's another, it's called the atypical node. The termini is up here in the neck area, in that little kind of triangle area. So you can kind of wiggle jiggle here. You can tap, tap, tap. You can do a little fist, pound the armpit. Woo. And then I have scars from my heart surgery, so sometimes I'll pat up and down those scars where they went in through in between my ribs to do that surgery for stopping AFib. It's been 2.5 years now. I can't believe it. Let's do the other side. Yeah, I see my cardiologist next week. So I'm not teaching next Wednesday because I'm seeing my cardiologist. So woo, it's going to be interesting. Other side. So press in, squeeze, wiggle jiggle. Do a little fist if you like. I'm going to, again, get my scars. Because when you have surgery, you know, that's going to stop lymphatic flow. So you kind of have to work this after it's healed, of course, right? All right, so that was area number 3. We're going to shift over to the thymus. So you find the little collarbone, you know, the bony things, and then come, oh, there's my necklace right there. Come down a little bit, and you can take those middle fingers and thump your thymus to increase T cell production. So we kind of lose that after the age of 30, so thump, 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 thump. Kind of reminds me of Tarzan. Also, humming helps with your vagus nerve, your parasympathetic. Get you out of the fight or flight into rest and restorative to hum. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed that. Notice if this feels tender, okay? So this is kind of in between 1, 2, 3. Here comes area 4. I always like to go at the bottom of the ribs and then pull across the thoracic diaphragm here. Thoracic meaning the mid-spine, okay? And then play little bongos here. The gut is connected to the brain, just like the calves are connected to the heart. They're considered to be the second brain of the body, the second heart of the body. The calves for the heart, the gut for the brain. Now let's go into horse stance. Bring the legs a little wide, bend the knees a bit, and where those legs insert into the torso, you can take the side of the hands and chop that crease. Again, lots of lymph nodes here. You kind of go up, you can go center. You can kind of just like rub if you like. I like to chop. I'm a chopper. I'm a chopper. All right, then I step my feet in. This is easier to do seated on the chair, but it can be done standing too. So I'm going to bend my knees. First, let's clap the hands. Get some little heat there. Move into the fingers. Let's do the kneecaps first. So a little heat on the kneecaps. Be sweet, be kind. And then fingertips, pads of the fingers to stimulate those acupressure points. Maybe you go the other direction if you want to. And with the palms, tap, tap, tap. That's your gallbladder meridian. And then take the hand, stroke behind the bend of the knee. The bottom of the hamstrings, the back of the knee, and the top of the calves. And then the thumbs are also kind of rubbing on the side, so that a little extra pain relief for those knees. Come back on up, hands back on up. Clap the hands. Woo. Just kind of rub some heat here. All right, from here, shake the legs. Again, more oxygen into the lower body. And then just kind of, I mean, you want to hang on to the chair to do this next one. Those knees up a little bit. And then come over to one of your chairs, and we're going to bring a knee out. So it's bringing up and making a little, like a half circle up. Maybe the hand goes underneath to help facilitate that. So we're lubricating that hip joint. Very good. And then come to the, just kind of march in place. Again, you can hang on to the chair if you like. And then let's do a little something for our ankles. So you can have your back of the heel on the floor and just point and flex, or you can raise it up a little bit. Mine's up just a little bit. Ooh, notice if it feels stiff on the top of the foot, the back part of the ankle, kind of near the Achilles. This is also a calf pump. Lower that blood glucose. And then look at your foot and think, okay, I'm going to draw a circle inward with my foot. Try to just do the foot. Sometimes we like to do the whole leg. This time it's just the foot. Woo! Reverse. Beautiful. Let's do the other side. I'm going to move over to the other chair. Point and flex. You'll notice I do point and flex in almost every class that I teach. It's very, very important. Because, you know, maybe we were in boots. I was in steel-toe shoes in my previous career, so my toes were kind of cramped up. So that kind of, you're in those kind of footwear for a long time, you know, kind of stays with you. All right, and then we're going to draw the circle inward. Sometimes I have to put my hand on my leg to make sure it's just my ankle moving, because my whole leg wants to get involved, okay? And then reverse. This is my stiff one. Oh my gosh, okay. Woo. Very good. So these warm-up sequences are designed to promote relaxation, flexibility, and overall well-being, and, you know, get the major muscles and the joints warmed up before we do that strength work. But first, we're going to do a balance thing. We're going to do golden rooster. So I'm going to turn softly towards the back of the chair, and you'll do this seated also. You come scooch into the edge. You're going to lift a leg up and an arm up, similar to what we do here on the chair. So hand on top of the chair. You're going to bend both knees, if I can talk, tuck that tailbone under, and then bend the elbow, and then raise the same side leg up, point the toe down, and then maybe you can release the chair, maybe not. Maybe it's closer to the floor, and it's okay wherever it's at. You may be noticing lots of tension in that hip flexor. So you're either going to walk around to the other side of the chair or come over to the other chair. And then again, you turn softly towards the corner of the chair, bend the knees, tuck that tailbone in and under, hand on top of the chair. It's either hand on top or you're gripping that chair. Bend the elbow, lift that same side leg up, point the toe down. Maybe release the chair, maybe not. In my case, I'm like wiggly jiggly here. Notice that there's lots of tension, lots of stuff going on in that hip flexor area. And release. Woo! All right, so were you kind of wiggly? Maybe so. What we're going to do now is come to the chair. So I'm going to bring my chair to the center. Grab your yoga block. Grab your strap. Mine's over here on this chair. And let's see. Oh, I put my hand down before I sat down. Notice how you sit down. Okay, we're going to use the block first. So I'm scooted away from the back of the chair and looking to see how much room I have here in the camera. Let me scoot back just a little bit more. I gotta make sure I'm not going to hit the wall. Okay, from here, I'm going to take that yoga block in between, and then I'm going to walk my feet in. Then, you know, I'm just noticing how this feels. I feel a little tension going on in those inner thighs. We're going to add on to that. So I invite you to press your feet firm into the floor. So you may notice that the contraction energy stepped up a little bit. And then you're going to intentionally squeeze a block and push into the floor. Maybe not as subtle on this one. And you take your hands and play the bongos. So here we go. Don't let the block move. Squeeze the block. Release the block. Let that contraction energy disappear. Walk a foot forward and back. So basically marching forward. Now pause. Now walk the other foot forward and back. So this is to work both sides of our brain. This little dementia prevention here. Two more. 2 and 1. Now again, place that block in between. Walk the feet in. Squeeze the block, press the feet into the floor, and scoot your booty back on the chair when you do that. Just kind of know that. Adjustments if you need to. I'm going to bring my block a little bit higher this time. Okay, now we're going to tap the sides and then move to tapping the top. So here we go. Squeeze the block, press into the floor. Here we go. Ah. And then on top. And the sides. Moving. And then on top. Beautiful. All right. Now, guess what? Bring the block to the side. Grab your yoga strap. Now, I've already put a loop in mine. If you do, you can either do your strap like a shoelace tie. You bring it underneath, and then I'm going to step in. I'm going to try to step in. So this is similar to a Pilates yoga movement. It's called clam pose. But first, we're gonna walk the feet out to where it's aligned with the outside of you being in that looped strap. And then you're just kind of noticing the tension that's being had by you, just like, you know, being firm into this strap, yeah? And then look down at your feet. They're mostly probably pointing straight. I got a bunion on one side, so one kind of points a little out to the side. And then from here, whew, we're going to progress this. We're going to press into the floor. It should feel a little more spicy. That's my word for it. A little more stuff going on, yeah? And imagine there's a wrinkle here. We hate wrinkles. So we're pressing down and away. So it should be a little more vigorous. When we hold the posture for at least 30 seconds, that helps us with that contraction energy, strong contraction of those muscles, stimulate bone growth. So just think about this as your bone growth opportunity, okay? Lessening osteopenia, osteoporosis affects both men and women. Again, pressing down and away, and relax all that. Yay, that's over. Or is it? No, it's not. So I'm gonna release my strap just a little bit. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4 fist distances apart in between my legs. So I have to, you know, having a little bit more bigger space. We're not going to do that same thing, but we're going to do a little variety. It's called clam pose. So this is homework number 1, clam pose. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe it over. So you got that foot kind of nestled into the other foot. So it's kind of at a little angle here. Now what I like to do is take my hands back behind me to improve my posture on this. And again, I'm pressing into the one that didn't move. And then I'm pressing the other one towards the floor. So press into the floor with both. Press one towards the floor, one into the floor. So again, you're going at a little angle here, getting into the nooks and crannies of that hip joint, okay? If you want more, press into the top of the leg, press the leg away. If you want more. I don't know if I want more. You don't have a strap, the hand goes to the outside and you're pressing into the hand, you're pressing down, and again, you're trying to smooth out the wrinkle. And release. Woo! Heel toe it back. Wow, okay. Just kind of walk in place here. I'm trying to let go of that muscle memory just for a moment before we move on to the next one, which is going to be the other side. So again, whew, here we go. Other side, walk it in, here we go. Well, that one doesn't walk in as best as the other one. So you kind of notice your ankle mobility going on here too. So we're going to press firmly into the stable leg and press the other one towards the floor. Maybe the hands go back behind you, poof your chest forward a little bit. Again, pressing into the floor, pressing the other one towards the floor. It might move initially, but really kind of resist that, okay? Might be spicy. So we have a spicy yoga pose or a Tai Chi pose. You're going to listen to your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep pressing. Keep being vigorous. So this is to have, like, you know, something else to think about other than what's going on here. It's a redirection of senses. They kind of use that in Lamaze and Bradley breathing for childbirth. So we can use it here in class too. Woo! And release. Yay, that's almost over. It's almost over. We're going to do one more bone building. So we're going to take that loop or the middle of your strap, place your foot into that loop, bring it out to the side. Make sure your behind's not awkwardly sitting on the chair. And then we usually have this with 2 ends of the strap. We're going to do 1 end today. So we're going to pull the strap, the foot towards us. And with that foot, we're vigorously pushing it away. So again, this encourages contraction energy, muscle contraction, push-pull. It's just not sitting out there, okay? You're really being vigorous here. Okay, I saw your message. Thanks for letting me know. Again, I'm doing a video today, so you all get videos of this. Pull, push. Again, staying in the posture about 30 seconds. Woo! And release. Guess what? We gotta move it into the other side. We're going at a little angle here. This is also called big toe hold. So again, I'm gonna invite it towards me. I'm gonna push that foot vigorously away. If there's spice happening in the back of the knee, bend the knee just a little bit, but it's still toes towards you. You still have that vigorous heel flex, okay? Use both hands if you can. Pull, pull, pull. Oh my, is this side tighter than the other? See, this is my left side. This would be your right side. So typically the dominant side, which I think the right leg, if you're right-handed, that's considered to be your dominant side. I could be wrong. Stuff maybe have, sometimes those toes like spread out weird when you're doing this flex. Just notice that, okay? You're looking at my foot, my little pinky toe is doing that. I don't know if you can see it in the camera though. It's like tiny, tiny. Oh! Are you breathing? I hope so. And release. Oh my. You know what? We're going to do something weird today. We haven't done this one in a while. So we're going to take that loop into our hand. I'm going to stand up to show this. You may have to do this standing too. But I'm going to pat myself on the back. Then I'm going to try to find that strap. I'm going to walk my hands towards one another. Maybe. It's called happy face. Or happy cow, I should say. So you're going to notice, is your elbow out to the side? Is it to the front? Is it towards the sky? This helps if you tend to round towards the floor when you know, if you're doing texting, if your chin's more towards your chest. You know, eventually you kind of have that head aligned with your top of the shoulders. But, you know, when we get into the posture, it's a little wiggling going on here. And again, you're going to notice one side versus the other depending on your shoulder issues or challenges. And release. Woo! Up and down with those shoulders, kind of release that a little bit. Concave towards the front of the room. It looks kind of weird. It's kind of like our cat pose. And then back behind you. And again, concave towards the floor. And then back behind you. Let's do the other side. Place that loop into the arc of your hand. Pat yourself on the back. Pat, 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 pat. Okay, I can do that. And then you got to try to find your strap. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll walk that hand up as far as I can. I've got that hand in the strap, right? And then I'll pull down and push away to have a little dynamic tension happening in that elbows, shoulder girdle, upper back. Sometimes I just, you know, grab it and I don't do that. And it's okay either way, okay? So this one's more out to the side. This is my pacemaker side, so that doesn't surprise me. So just, you know, notice what you notice. One side versus the other. What does this have to do with fall prevention yoga? Let's think. Upper body, the chains of the things in the upper body do influence what's going on with the mid body and the lower body. So, you know, if you can open this up, your upper thoracic spine, your cervical spine, that's a good thing too. And release. Again, shoulder shrugs, up and down. And then concave to the front of the room. And then out to the side. And again, concave, it's a little cat posture, and then out to the back of the room. Whew, very nice. Okay, so we got to do one more. It is crescent lunge, or otherwise known as a variation of warrior one posture. So I'm going to put my yoga strap and block out of the way. So what this helps facilitate is a better walking ability, because we're going to really stretch out that big toe. And unless you intentionally do this, it gets stiff. And so your heel ball toe rolling through the foot gets a little compromised. And you may find yourself like, you know, shuffling, or like, I don't know what the name of the word is, when you kind of not do the regular walking gait. So I'm turning sideways in my chair. And then I'm taking a bun off the chair and bringing the knee in front, and then, you know, I gotta move around a little bit because this doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't, I'm just telling y'all that. And I'm kind of scooching my toe forward a little bit. Now I'm on that curly, curved toe. Now what you can do, you can keep it here. That's perfectly fine. Or maybe you think of this as like a lunge. Maybe you scoot that back leg a little bit so you get it really into that toe bed, yeah? And you press firmly into the leg that's, you know, in the front. And you press into that toe bed, you squeeze the bun that's hanging off the chair, you hang on to the chair. If you want more, you take your behind, shift it forward a little bit, more muscular contraction. Again, press firmly into that forward heel, into that back toe, optional arm up into the air. So it's a little back bend when you do this. Heart rate might kick up. Just notice what you notice. Breathe in. Breathe out, breathing in, and breathe out, and release. Woo! Take that back leg, bring it to that other leg, and kind of go over to the other side. But right, stay here in the center. just to begin with, we're going to do a sumo stomp. So bring it out, bring it in, bring it out, bring it in. We'll do the other side, don't worry. You can do a vigorous stomp or just land softly. If you have brittle bones, you probably want to land softly instead. One more. Okay, now let's go over to the other side. Bring the leg back, get that booty off. Again, I got my big toe there, pressing into that forward heel, pressing into that back toe, squeeze my bun, woo! Shift the hip, optional. Hang on to the chair, not optional. Arm goes up. You might feel your breathing a little bit easier because we are kind of opening up that chest a little bit. Especially those of us with scoliosis. This might feel good on one side and a little bit different on the other, yeah? Vigorously press into the floor. Push the floor away. Push it away, push it away. Woo! And release. Bring that leg next to the other leg. I use my yoga pant to make that happen. Scoot a little forward and then come here to the front of the room. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and then bring the hands down the heart center. Let's do a knee strengthener before we move on. So we scoot back into our chair. We're going to lift a leg up, show me the bottom of your foot, and then show me the palm, the opposite palm. Very good. And release, hover, point the toe, point the fingers. Very good. And release. Other side. So show me the bottom of your foot and then the palm, the opposite palm. So a little brain transfer going on here. And then lower the leg. It's hovering. And then point the toe, point the fingers. And release. Other side. Here we go. Show me the bottom of the hand. Show me both palms. Press, press, press away. And release. Hover that foot and then point the toes, point the fingers. Very good. And release. Other side. Here we go. Flex that heel. Woo! Show me your palms. Show me the bottom of your foot. Spicy, spicy behind going on here. Wow, wow, wow. And lower. Lower everything. And then point the toes, point the fingers. Beautiful. Shift a little forward on your chair. Clap your hands. Get some heat. Maybe you want to ignite the fires by kind of like making meatballs in your hands, or in my case, exfoliating the hands. And then move it into the fingers. All right, let's warm up our shins if you're allowed to hinge forward. So, get some heat there on the shins, the back of the calves, the side of the legs, the inside, those knees. Oh, the knees want me to stay here today. Underneath. Underneath the other, and then come up on the balls of your feet and shake the legs, and then stomp the feet. Woo. And shake the legs, and then just little marches here. Belly button super tight here. All right, very good. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down the chi. Let's do a yoga breath this time. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Arms out to the side, exhaling. We're kind of doing a fusion class here. A little mix of Tai Chi, a little mix of yoga. But now we're going to stand. So come up to standing. Okay, I'm going to move the one chair out of the way. I'll use it here in just a little bit though. And then I turn the other chair sideways. Make sure it's in the camera. I'm going to move my equipment out of the way. Boink. Over to the side. Very good. Okay, now you don't have to turn your chair sideways. You can face it towards me, however it's comfortable, whatever you have lots of room for, okay? So from here, I make sure my feet aren't together. They're like a little bit apart, or maybe a little bit more when I stand behind the chair. Now take the leg that's closest to you, step that leg back a little bit of distance, and I'm laying down on my heel. Now with that other leg, I'm going to kind of hop walk it towards the back of the chair with a little bit of width in between the forward foot and the back foot. Bend the knee towards the back of the chair. Now take your back heel, press into that back heel to stretch that calf muscle. Whatever leg you have stepped back, same side arm goes up. Maybe the other one does too, or maybe the hand rests on the chair. But you're pressing your heel firm into the floor to stretch the calf. Otherwise, if your foot is just here, just relaxed, you're not really stretching that calf muscle. You might be feeling it up in the quadricep, the hamstring, the side behind, the back behind muscles too. Release the hand, relax the leg, step that leg to the back of the chair. Other side, step the leg back a little bit. Again, there's a little bit of width in between the legs when you do this, okay? Again, I'm pressing firmly into that back heel, bend the other knee. Woo! I can feel it in that hip bone for sure. And then same side arm goes up, option to do the other arm or not. If you're feeling wiggly, be safe, hand on the chair is fine. But again, I invite you to be vigorous, press into that back heel. Press, press, press. Again, do what you can with what you got today. Bring the hand down, step that leg back to the back of the chair. Now, let's step the first leg back again, and then some more, and then some more, and then some more. Again, what we're trying to do is shoulders over the hips. So I'm pressing into that back heel, bend the knee towards the back of the chair. Again, re-engage, press that back heel into the floor. And then same side arm can go up, bend to the elbows perfectly fine here. Just know that, okay? So this is a 3 series of leg strengtheners, sciatica soothing postures that we do in this class. And again, we're working with that entire hip behind complex to strengthen that lower body to help us walk better. Lower the hand, take that back leg, hop, scooch it towards the back of the chair, other side. Bring it back a little bit, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more. Bring that heel down, very good. Bend the knee towards the back of the chair. Now, think about back heel firm into the floor, very good. Same side arm goes up. Maybe you release the chair, maybe you don't. There may be some swaying side to side going on here. There's going to be some contraction energy happening in that hip, I would think. Yep. Woo. Hello. Don't forget to breathe. If it gets spicy, if you're getting a little challenge there, a little rush of adrenaline, breathe, breathe, breathe. Don't be surprised of a physical or an emotional release when you do movement practices, by the way. Bring the hand down, take that back foot, kind of hop, drag it to the back of the chair. Okay, so we're going to do the third pose. So we're going to step the leg back about halfway, or you know, the original going back distance, okay? Then, okay, let me hike up my yoga pant here. We're going to take that back heel, instead of being on the floor, you're going to lift the heel, oh my, and then take that behind, tuck it under. Now, we don't bend that much of the forward knee, there's a little bend in it, and then raise that same side arm up. You might find a little shaking going on here, because again, we're exercising that toe bed, and we're in a different position that's not normal to us. And release. Woo! You know what? Kind of shake it out here, especially if you hiked up your yoga pant. Shake it out. That would be me. Let's do the other side. Step the other foot back. Just that regular little distance there. Now, again, I'm going to hike up my yoga pants so that can be seen if necessary. We're going to lift that back heel. We're on that toe bed. Take your hand on your booty if you need to. Roll it under. Tuck it under. Woo! Okay, same side arm goes up. Release the chair or not. Notice the work, the wiggling that might be happening here. If there's not a wiggling, that's okay too. But again, rolled under, up on that toe bed. 2 opportunities to increase your heel toe action with your walking gait. And release the hand, release the leg, and again, kind of shake it out here, especially if you hiked up your yoga pant. All right, next is our leg swinging. So I'm making sure I'm away from the wall here. Okay. And then, so we do this about 6 to 8 times each side. Do what you can with what you got. So we're standing behind the chair. Make sure you're not going to hit the back of the chair, so you may have to walk back a little bit more. I had to grab my kitchen chair because the metal chairs, I was like kind of down here doing this. So you may have to change chairs or use the wall. So basically out to the side and in. So you're kind of targeting that psoas muscle, okay? It's very integral in keeping our balance, having better walking ability. Sometimes that muscle gets turned off. This is turning that muscle on. Woo! 2 more. 2 and 1. Very good. Kind of walk a little bit in between, just a little, you know, knees feet off the floor, a little walk in place. We're going to do the other side. Now, if your hands are together, it might make it pretty wiggly. You may need to have the hands a little bit more apart for safety, okay? Let's do the other side. Okay, here we go. Ooh, this one's my stiff side. So notice if you're kind of hiking out to the side a little bit when you do one versus the other. I'm going to bring my hands wider. I didn't have to bring them wider on the other side. I do on this one. Let's do 3 more. 3, woo, 2, and 1. Oh my heart rate's pretty up. So when you use these huge muscle groups also, there's a little cardio effect going on in your yoga class. So that's kind of cool. In your chair yoga class, how about that? Let's do the other side. So the next one is, which one is it? We're going to be doing the heel out and the toe in. So you bring the heel out, you keep it in that position, and you bring it across. Okay? Should be interesting. So heel out, so it's heel out, so you bring it out and across. Now I don't go up as high in the air with that heel out, toe across. I definitely feel a different little section being kind of activated, or what's the word for it? I can feel it. 2 more. And 1 more. Woo! Again, march in place to kind of release that, let that muscle memory go. And we're going to do the other side. So again, it's heel out, toe across. We bring it across and out, or out and across, however it works, right? So here we go. Does one side feel easier to do versus the other? This side feels easier. There's not as much tension happening in on this side. Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Again, walk in place. This next one is a little different. We do toe out, and when we cross the midline, toe in. So really oiling that hip joint. May not feel like it though. So here we go. Toe out, toe in. A little more concentration going on here. Concentrating as in I don't want to fall. Well, my behind is talking to me. Be kind to your behind is what it's saying. I just made that up. 1 more. And then, guess what? March in place. Other side. Toe out, toe in. Toe out, toe in. So bring it out and in. Feels a little awkward. Yeah. Ball socket hip. Getting that joint. Kind of moving. 2 more. And 1 more. Don't know how to count. All right, so you may want to go to the side of your chair and just kind of bring that knee up and out, just to kind of ease that tension that kind of built up in that hip. Very good. Whew. So from here, we're going to do the 3-point stepping drill. So I'm going to move my chair over to the side a little bit, so you can use the chair or not. So we do this in our standing Tai Chi class. So what we're going to do is bend both knees, and then we're going to tuck the tailbone under, so we're rooting down. We're going to, the leg that's closest to the chair, that's our rooted, anchored leg. The other leg, we're just going to bring it forward, resting on the back of the heel. There's no weight going on, so you should be able to just lift it up, plant it down, and bring it back to your ankle. Now bring that same foot, like a pencil is drawing straight out to the side, heel down, toe up, back to your ankle. You're not raising out of the anchored leg. Back behind you at an angle, point the toe, a little squeeze of the booty, back to the ankle, and then come up and release from that. We're going to do that same posture 2 times in a row. The objective is stay rooted down into the leg closest to the chair. And we're practicing the empty step. So bend the knees, roll that tailbone under. It's for our balance and strengthening the lower part of the body. So that's why this is a combination class, Tai Chi and yoga. So you tucked it under, you're rooted down. Okay, excellent. Heel down, toe up, to the front, to the ankle, out to the side, to the ankle, back behind you, to the ankle. Stay rooted. Go forward last time, to the ankle, out to the side, to the ankle, hello leg, back behind you, to the ankle. Come out of that, walk a little bit. Now I'm going to go over to the other side of the chair. I'm just going to move my chair to the other side. We got to do the other side, yeah? Okay, let me get that more in the camera. So again, bending both knees, rolling that tailbone under, hand on my chair. Maybe it's gripping, maybe it's just a hand. It's gripping, let me tell you. And again, heel down, toe up. Again, you just kind of bring that leg forward so you're not shifting weight forward, okay? So it's all in that back heel. Back to the ankle, out to the side. So your toes up, ankle down, back to the ankle. Back behind you, feel that squeeze of the behind, back to the ankle. And then come out of that, walk a little bit. So this next one, we're doing 2 times in a row. We're staying rooted into the leg closest to the chair. So once again, bend both knees, roll that tailbone under, hand on the chair, stay down in that leg next to the chair. Here we go. Heel down, toe up to the front, back to the ankle. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Back behind you, woo! Back to the ankle. Stay here. Here we go. Heel down, toe up. Very good. Back to the ankle, out to the side, back to the ankle, back behind you, back to the ankle. And then come out of that. Kind of shake those legs. Woo. And then, again, knees up, knees up. Very good. Now what you can do on this next one, if you don't have brittle bones, we're going to do that bone density drop. So I'm going to use my hands on the top of the chair and lift up on the balls of my feet and drop. Ooh. Now, if you don't need to be doing the dropping, you're just lowering, raising and lowering, okay? But if you want to add some vigor, you drop down on those heels. Bone density building. Hips, knees, ankles, a little bit of the spine. Woo! 2 more. And 1 more. All right. So I'm going to bring my chairs back to back. You can use a chair up back to back with the wall if you don't have 2 chairs today. Okay, let me make sure here. This takes a little doing here. Okay, so we're going to walk backwards and forwards. So backwards because it stimulates a different part of our brain, plus we kind of understand, ooh, there's some different challenges going on here. We use different muscles when we walk backwards. I often will grab onto my rail in my house, walk backwards down the stairs. Anyway, always be safe when you do things, okay? So we're going to heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe. And then you're going to look at your feet. Does one foot turn out to the side? Is one foot pointed forward? Are they both turned out to the, notice what you notice. And then I'm going to find my chair, there it is, and go back with the forward leg, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, and I usually hit the wall here. Then I'm going to switch the feet. So I'm going to bring the other foot forward because we take the furthest back foot, swing it forward, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe. This is homework number 2. Actually, number 3. 3-point step is homework number 2. This is the 3rd homework, walking forwards and backwards. I'm going to grab my chair. Forward leg, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel. Now I'm going to switch the feet. Okay. Take the furthest back leg, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe. Look at your feet. What are they doing? Again, no judgment here, okay? Where's my chair? There it is. The forward leg, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel. All right, so that's homework number 3, walking forwards and backwards. Maybe you have a long corridor or you're in the kitchen, you have something you can hang on to. Not near the stove though, okay? Go forwards, go backwards, just notice what you notice. The next one is sit to stand, homework number 4. So there's a prediction thing where if you're unable to do 10 to 12 of these in 30 seconds, you have a 70% chance of falling. The lower number that you're able to do, the higher percentage of you having the ability to fall. The ability to fall. Well, I don't want that ability. So what you do is you have your hands on your shoulders and you kind of see, okay, there's that leg, there's that chair, and you're going to bend the knees and come down to the chair. And you notice, did you plop? Did you kind of land with force, or was it nice and soft? And so sit to stand. The traditional version is, your heels a little bit towards the front of the chair and you stand up. And then you sit down. Or if you're not able to do that without grunting or without like, ooh, super lots of pain, hands on the chair, because this is the training for that. Fingertips on the chair or a grip, and then stand up and come down. Now we're not using our arms to hike us up. We're not using momentum, okay? We're trying to use our own body weight, our own strength. Now, if you're not on carpet, what you need to do is take one of your chairs up against the wall and do this, and have the other chair in front. So, you know, again, we're always concerned about safety, right? And then lowering and raising. This is going to kick up your heart rate also. Again, training for this is hands on the chair. This is also your ability to lower and raise up off the toilet without assistance. So we're kind of trying to keep our independence. So we call this our independence pose. Y'all keep doing that. I'm going to come up to the front of the room. Or take breaks when you need to.
Oh, wow. Did everything work? It did not work?
If you are on audio, go ahead and put yourself on mute. Let me go ahead and do that for y'all. Keep doing that. A couple more times. Okay, good. All right, from here, come back into your chair. Take a little break. Notice your heart rate. Mine went up a bit on that one for sure. And we'll do our guided rest and relaxation. So I invite you to notice your heart rate. Notice if it's beating a little faster. Maybe it is. Then go ahead and notice your breathing. Notice as you are breathing. Don't change it in any way. And maybe you want to take your eyes to gaze down at the floor. Or eyes closed. Whatever's okay for you. Or maybe you're standing, walking around. That works too. We're going to go on a little sensory journey here and do a little non-sleep deep rest. It's similar to our yoga nidra at nighttime, but those are like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. This is a short and sweet one. It's like a in the middle of the day reset. So what we do is we notice the breath. So again, breathe in, breathe out. Again, inhaling and exhaling. One more time, breathe in, breathe out. Now you just continue the breath that's familiar, safe for you. And then again, if you want to gaze your eyes softly at the floor, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, that's cool too. Whatever you need to do, okay? So I'm going to name some different places in the body. And so all you have to do is listen to my voice, to my instructions. So when I say left thumb, you're going to visualize in your brain the left thumb. You're going to focus all your attention to your left thumb, but you don't do it with your eyes. You do it with your kind of internal brain power, right? And then you say to yourself, left big thumb. And then we'll move on to the different places in the body as I say them. Now we kind of rapidly go through the different places in the body. That helps us to lower our stress levels, lessen cortisol, kind of get rid of that monkey mind, because you're listening to me and you're shifting awareness to different places. Again, do what you can, all right? So here we go. So I invite you to notice your right thumb. Again, think about the right thumb, all the awareness to the right thumb, say right thumb in your brain. And then we'll move on. Index finger, middle finger, right ring finger, pinky finger, back of the right hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper right arm, shoulder, back side of the right back, the mid right back, the right behind, back of the right leg, calf, the sole of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, right pinky toe. Let's notice and bring all of our attention to the top of the right foot, shin, knee, upper leg, the right hip joint. Notice that right side waist. Pay attention to that right side chest. So all those places on the right side, notice the right side. Now, let's shift our attention over to the left side of our body, starting with that left thumb. Again, left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, left pinky finger. Again, just listening to my voice. Pay attention to the palm of the left hand, left wrist, back of the left wrist, forearm, left elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, left upper back, mid back, low behind on the left side, back of the left leg, calf, sole of the left foot. Bring all that attention, that awareness into that left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, that left pinky toe. And then I invite you to bring all of that attention to the top of the left foot, the shin, left knee, upper leg, left hip bone, left side waist, left side chest. From here, I invite you to notice your navel center, your heart center, and then at the base of the throat, your throat center. From here, shift your attention to your chin, your jawline, the lower and upper lip, bringing awareness and attention to the very tip of your nose, the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow, the forehead, and the very crown, the very top of your head. From here, let's invite healing sunshine to open up the top of the head and go throughout the entire body, saturating every cell in your body with that healing bright sunshine. All the bones, all the tendons, all the joints, all the layers of the skin. Maybe you have some challenge areas in your body, and I invite you to bring some bright healing sunshine to that area. Just bathe it with that healing sunshine. Feel it. Enjoy that. Good. And now I invite you to come back into the now, back into the present moment. Let's just wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes. And if you're kind of back here in the back of the chair, scooch a little forward to where you engage those nice tall posture muscles. And have those legs be a little wide, hands on the legs. And let's do those wide upper body circles. Now we're going nice and slow because it can be a little spicy in the pelvis. And again, we're just bringing a little bit of motion back into the body before we end our class today. And then let's take it and go the other direction. So do that circle in the other direction. So just really, and you might feel your abdominals being engaged when you go a little bit more back, yeah? Now we're going to do what's called a supported twist. We're going to take both hands over to the outside of a leg, and we're going to take that opposite shoulder and twist it gently towards that leg. And so you're going to feel that little twist in that side body. And then come back on up. Now we're going to take the hands over to the outside of the other leg, and then take that opposite shoulder, turn it towards that opposite knee. Get that little supported twist on the other side. You always keep it away from ouch though, okay? Just know that. And then come back to the center. We're going to do two things for our neck and shoulders before we do our gratitude practice. So the first thing is called swimming dragon. We have the palms together. We're just pressing, nice and gently here. We're going to breathe in, expand the belly, and then push the hands one direction, turn the head the opposite direction, just in a natural turn there. And stay here, breathe in, exhale back to the center. From here, staying in the center, breathe in, belly big, press the hands one direction, turn the head the other. Staying here, breathe in, exhale back to the center. Beautiful. Next is called swimming dragon. So this is going to address some of our things going on in the shoulders, the neck, and the spine. We're going to take a hand, spread it out like a little starfish. And you're spreading the feathers, basically. You take your hand out to the side. Now, since it's not, I'm going to lower my arm a little bit. I'm going to take my thumb and turn it to the back of the room. You can't really see it because my title's in the way there. And then what I'm going to do here is take that opposite ear, drop it a little bit towards my shoulder. Stay there for a second. And then take the chin, drop it towards your collarbone. Keep it away from ouch now. Now we're going to lift the chin towards the ceiling. Then we're going to take our chin and draw a half smile. So we bring it down towards our chest and towards that same side extended arm, and then bring everything back to the center. So when you extended that arm, you may have noticed some muscular contraction, and that's kind of normal in this pose. Again, spread out the hands, spread the feathers on the other side, bring that arm extended out, lower it a little bit, and then turn that thumb to the back of the room. Woo! Then take your opposite ear, drop it towards your shoulder. Maybe the arm is out to the side of the body. And then take the chin and invite it towards your collarbone. And now we're going to lift that chin to where the wall meets the ceiling. And then we're going to draw a half smile with our chin. We're going to bring it down towards our chest and then over to that extended arm side, and then bring that arm and head back to the center. Very good. All right, from here, we'll be doing that gratitude practice. So I invite you either maybe stack the hands or hands together at your heart center and think about something that you're grateful for, thankful for today. And you know what? Maybe you're just grateful for showing up today. So let's lower our chin towards our chest in gratitude of just showing up today. And I appreciate your dedication, your discipline, your determination, and your responsibility for signing up for a class, for coming to a class. That's great for starting you on your healing journey or your movement journey, whatever journey you're on today. Good. Again, whatever you're grateful for, place it here in our heart space. And then we'll end our class with traditional sayings. You can keep your chin towards your chest, or you can raise your chin back to kind of its normal positions, eyes opened or closed, as I say our traditional sayings. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, and the understanding, and that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of chair yoga for fall prevention. Let me stop the recording.